Right now we're on a tiny little island in a completely off-grid fishing village. They have no running water, no electricity, no utilities of any kind. And the craziest thing is that we're less than half a kilometer from a city of over 100,000 people. As our world becomes increasingly connected, developed, and systematized, it's becoming harder to find places that are truly off the grid. With each passing year, unplugging usually means going further from cities, further from highways, and deeper into the wilderness. And even then, in a country like Canada, being off the grid often still comes with conveniences like running water, electricity, and internet. Places without any modern utilities still exist, but they're difficult to reach. You usually need an off-road vehicle, or a boat, or a helicopter to access them. But even today, that's not always the case. Just offshore from Nanaimo, British Columbia, sits a tiny cluster of islands that is home to nearly 20 off-grid cabins dating back as far as the 1930s. But the story behind their continued existence is more complex than you might imagine. Following our curiosity, we set out to see what we could learn about this place. Why are these buildings still here? How have they remained entirely disconnected from utilities? Who built them? And who lives here now?
We are gonna go kayaking around Shack Island. This is the first time we've been kayaking in months. Yeah, it's January.
Could be chilly. So Marissa just realized that to launch this kayak, we have to get our feet wet.
It's January.
Yep.
Oh, we're gonna be so cold. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold the baby.
Built without permits or government approval, each cabin is unique. And despite what you might think from a distance, these buildings aren't abandoned. They're still privately owned, freshly painted, and actively used in the summer months. Most of the cabins are totally boarded up. It's January. Most of these are just closed down for the winter, but not all of them. There's actually one cabin that we've seen so far that the windows are open and there's smoke coming from the chimney. They're obviously using the cabin even in January. So these cabins are still in use year round. Most of them are in pretty good shape, with maybe one exception. They're obviously well loved and cared for, clearly built with no building codes or any sort of city planning. Just put in place right where they were just out of reach of the tide. Some of them even are on stilts, so the tide reaches up right underneath the buildings, but they're looking pretty good for their age. So why did this village begin in the first place? Just a short boat ride away, the city of Nanaimo was already well established with roads, businesses, churches, and a local economy. So why move just offshore? In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, a number of Japanese-Canadian fishermen moved to the small island to escape Nanaimo's property taxes. There were no building permits issued and no formal planning process. The cabins were built as simple shelters out of whatever materials were available. But this way of life was abruptly disrupted during the Second World War. Japanese Canadians, who formed an important part of the coastal fishing community, were forcefully removed from their homes and sent to internment camps. This event reshaped life across the region, including here. In the years that followed, Nanaimo locals began using the abandoned cabins. Over time, the island developed into a small, tight-knit community, and new cabins were built even as ownership of the land beneath their feet was transferred and fought over. The cabins continued existing without legal tenure for decades. Eventually, the surrounding land was acquired by the government, and the area was officially established as parkland. Shack Island's cabins were allowed to remain, even though they were still technically in trespass. In 1991, the city of Nanaimo formally recommended maintaining the status quo, allowing the cabins to remain without legalizing them and without removing them.
It's a new day. We're back on Shack Island. After doing some more research about the history of this place, I wanted to get back out here and see it again. Marissa did not come with me this time, but I brought my dad along. Had a chat with the people who are in the yellow cabin. They said they come up often on the weekends. Yeah, they said it's a family cabin.
After chatting with the owners of the cabin, we realized that we might be asking the wrong questions. We were fascinated with the origin story of this village. But as it turns out, that's not the story that makes this place unique. This coastline used to be dotted with fishing shacks, built without government approval, by locals who didn't own the land as they were just trying to survive. What makes this place unique isn't the reason it was built in the first place. It's the fact that it's still here. These old fishing shacks, once so prevalent across the coast, have been all but wiped out. In the 1960s and 70s, as the city of Nanaimo continued to expand, developers acquired most of the surrounding land and destroyed the existing structures. The developers attempted to gain control over these small islands as well, ultimately losing the battle when the government designated the area as parkland. Shack Island, being so unchanged while sitting so close to a rapidly growing city, stands out as a unique piece of local heritage that hasn't been lost to progress. Today, the cabins are still owned by the descendants of those who lived and worked here. They can't be sold, new ones can't be built, and major renovations are not permitted. If a structure is lost to fire, weather, or other disaster, it can't be rebuilt. Ownership can only be transferred through inheritance, and the structures that exist can only be maintained. As a result, Shack Island remains in a rare state of continuity. A village that has managed to avoid the unrelenting pace of progress and maintain its undeveloped charm. So we just got back from Shack Island, and it's a short kayak ride. And we got in, we got out of the water, no problem. And just as we were getting ready to pack up and leave, all of a sudden we saw this like police boat zipping around the bay, going around the island and stuff. And then a police car pulled into the little parking lot that we were in. Then we could see police car lights on the other side, over at Neck Point on the other side of the bay. We were like, that's interesting, what's going on there? And the police officer had gotten out of his car and he was staring quite intently out at the water, and we were like, oh, I wonder if they need like an extra set of eyes or anything. So stopped the car, got out, I went over and chatted with him. I was like, yeah, do you guys need extra eyes or anything? And he was chatting on his radio. He's like, just hold on for a second. And then I told him that we had just been out on the water and that we didn't see anything weird going on. And he was like, a man, a woman, and a child? I was like, yeah, that was us. You know,
in a small yellow boat? Yeah, that was us. And he's like, oh, you might be the ones we're looking for. I was like, oh, all right. And he's like, yeah, we got a Crime Stoppers tip saying that there was a man, a woman, and a child on a little yellow inflatable in distress in the water. Well, that matches the description of us, except for the distress part. So he took all our details and he radioed over the other side and he was like, I think I found them and they seem to be fine. So that's the first time that I've ever had the police called on me in a boat. I don't know if they thought we were going to go over there and burn Shack Island down or something, because why would you call the Crime Stoppers line if you think someone's in distress in a boat? But anyway, good way to end the evening.